if a woman really digs your vibe, she'll do whatever she
You won't
can
be able to
to
get
like
rid
stay in
of
your
her.
orbit.
You'll be
Yeah,
kicking
like
her out.
you basically have to
She
be
won't
like,
leave.
hey, I got a meeting, I got to get going, I got to meet my family. Like, you got to get the fuck out of here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
You'll
probably
have to
the
beat her with a
disconnect.
stick to get her out of here. I mean, but listen, man, look, like the one thing that you said that really stuck out to me, it's like when she said, I'm leaving, and you're like, that's cool. And then she came back. Do you see what happens when you just leave her to her own device? All right, man, cool. You want to leave? Bounce, peace.
Yeah.
And then she's like, actually, no, we're going to talk about this. Like, she's coming back into your orbit. So, yeah, man. I mean,
So you kind of danced around that, Kevin. So what did you talk about when she came back? When she's like,
yeah,
no,
what
we're
is
going to
all
talk
that?
about this.
Yeah, when she came back, she was like, why'd the vibe shift? Like, you shifted
What
the
does that
vibe.
mean? This is such
But-
Zoomer speak. What are we talking? What does shifting the vibe mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's kind of like the energy dipped. We were like, we were doing really well together and connecting really well, and the chemistry, fireworks, everything. And then she just kind of, it just goes dead. It goes quiet.
So it dipped on your end because you showed a little bit less interest in it. You weren't going to chase her.
Exactly.
Okay, and then see what happened when you did that? She turned right around 180 degrees and walked right back and said, whoa, hang on a second. You kind of got a little cold on me. Can we talk about this?
Right.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. And so now I think the only move is to just go cold again.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though, Kevin. Like, everything that you've been told, and even though you got some experience, just about everything you've been told is bullshit and fucking lies. And there's still parts of it that you still believe. I'm like you. Moff is like you. Every other guy watching this right now, we're all the same. We all wish the same shit that we've been told our entire life fucking worked. You get up in the morning, hey, let's go out and go for a walk and have a coffee. Hey, let's go for a fucking stroll and, watch the sunrise and shit and get some brekkie. A lot of that stuff really doesn't work with them. And it's like, women have to kind of chase you a little bit. They keep telling each other, they keep fluffing each other up and lying to each other and shit and telling them fucking stories about how strong and brave and all this shit that they are. But they, at the end of the day, want to want you, right? Like, they want to miss you. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
They want to be able to text you after not talking to you for a couple of days because you've been busy and you just, you're doing whatever. Maybe you're working, maybe you're with other chicks, who cares? But you're busy. And they want to be able to reach out to you and be like, hey, Kev, I miss you. When can I see you next? And then they don't want to wait 3 hours for that response. They want it to come, right? Like, they want to be like, oh, I'm free Friday night. Let's go out and do this sort of thing. And then it sort of rolls from there. They want to do that chase. You have to play these fucking games with women to make things work, and that's just the way that it is. This is just part of game. When you hear game broadly defined by the Mano Swamp and by all these dating coaches, all these fucking nerds, this is basically the game, right? You have to play this game with women to have them respond positively too. Like I said, I wish buying them flowers and chocolates and opening the door for them was a shit that works, but it doesn't work. It's this game that you have to play back and forth, a little bit of this push and pull, having some options, being nonchalant about it, liking her but not liking her too much. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And so I guess so that's the way to go forward, is basically kind of just let it go, and if it comes back, then it comes back, but not to
you get up in the morning. Yeah, you get up in the morning and then you say, you know what? I'm going to get a coffee. I like coffee in the morning. You want to come with me?
Right.
That's it. She doesn't want to come. She makes it some shit. She wants to bounce. All right, I'll see you. Go get a coffee yourself. And then while you're out getting that coffee, you text an ex girl and be like, hey, what's up? What are you doing today?
Got it. And then, do those games ever end, or is there a point? Like, is there
No.
a point where
No, they never end.
Oh, my
It's a
sweet
never-ending.
child.
It's a never-ending game with women. You always have to play a little bit of a game. You got to maintain the frame of the relationship. You got to apply a little bit of dread. You got to make them, wonder where you're at sometimes. It does get easier. Like, when you get better at it, you get older, and the more you do it, and the more bullshit you go through, and the more heartbreak, and the more lies, like, you just get better and better at it. So no, you can't relax in a relationship, guys. I've said this a lot of times to you. I'll say it again. Dealing with women in a long-term relationship is much harder than just spinning plates, dating non-monogamously. And your reward for all of that work, to maintain the frame with that one girl, to have her in your orbit, to be a compliment to your life, to be useful, to love and respect you and give you the best sex ever is the same fucking chick you had last month, last week, last year. That's
Yeah, but I'd
that's
say
your reward
this.
for all this work.
Right.
I'd say
And
this,
so that's
man.
why
Like,
it's got to be a real good girl, one that doesn't like cause all this chaos or problems or confusion. And
I'll give you a book to read beyond my book. I mean, obviously, have you read my book?
I do have your book. I actually have the version of the book that's No More Mr. Nice Guy and different things like that.
Okay, I didn't write No More Mr. Nice Guy. That's Robert Glover.
Oh, I gotta get your book.
get the Unplugged Alpha.
Yeah, get the Unplugged Alpha, the second edition. But
Second edition.
after you've gotten that and you've gotten the basics, because my book's easy to consume, go get Dr. Orion Taraband's book, The Value of Others, and read it 5 or 6 times until it sinks in. The second half of the book is dense. It'll help you understand the dynamics of the longer term component of the relationship. The more than just getting the 50 notches. You can get laid clearly if you got 50 notches.
Right.
That's not a problem for you. It's the retention aspect that you're struggling with.
Absolutely. That's exactly spot on.
I'd say this guy before we wrap up. Like, it's just like shooting a jump shot, man, or anything you try for the first time is going to look like shit. It's going to be ugly, but you do it 10,000 times, you get pretty good at it, and it just gets easier, right? Like, you get your black belt, the basics are just the basics, and they become reactive. They become the fundamentals. You don't have to think about it anymore. So you've got that working for you. You just got to keep working at it, and you got to keep nailing those things down. I mean, if you've gotten laid 50 by 50 different women, then, I mean, you've got a solid grasp. So it is surprising to see you thrown off by one chick, but it happens to the best of us. 2, I would say in this particular situation, your course of action going forward is to do nothing. You don't reach out. You don't like her posts on Instagram. You don't find some innocuous reason for reaching out. If you butt dial her, you don't acknowledge it. You wait for her to reach out to you. And anytime a girl's going to reach out to you at all, she's doing it because she wants to. You have to think about it. It's not always the case, but most of the time, if a chick's going to reach out to you, hey, what are you up to? Or like, hey, blah, 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 it's night. Like, a girl saying, hey, it's really nice out today, like some bullshit about the weather. She just wants to talk to you and she's hoping that you're going to ask her out. So you continue to give some distance. You continue to let her wonder about you. And if she comes back into your orbit, you ask her out, you make a date, you go do something, and then that's how it goes from the time. You don't waste a lot of time back and forth texting. You use the phone to set up dates and opportunities to see her, and that's it. And so, but yeah, I mean, don't be surprised if you don't hear from her, and just continue to live your life and level up as a man and continue to focus on generating more options. And if she doesn't come back, she doesn't come back. And you've learned the
I'll say
lesson the
this,
hard way, my
guys.
friend.
Yeah, I'll say this, guys, to add what Moff just gave you there, which is some solid advice, is it shouldn't be that difficult. Okay, I'm going to say it again. Dealing with women shouldn't have to be this difficult. Again, I'm going to, like, the key to all of this is attractiveness and value. If you're as attractive as you can possibly be and as valuable as you can possibly be on the sexual marketplace, if you get up in the morning and you're feeling a coffee, you're going to get up and you're like, feeling like that bomb ass coffee at that shop down over there. You think to yourself, I'm going to go get one. And then you look over at the girl and you be like, I'm getting up to go get a coffee. You want to come? And she's going to be like, yeah. She's excited about it. You don't have to sell her on it. There's no negotiation. There's no push pull bullshit back and forth. She walks out the door, comes back. Wait, I want to talk about this. It's actually easier. So the effort that you're using, the mental energy right now that you're using, trying to figure this shit out, talking to some random guys you see on YouTube on a call-in podcast show, use some of that effort after this show on yourself and do a self-assessment. Look at yourself in the mirror. What am I missing? What am I missing? Like, there's a segment in my book where I talk about the 7 spokes of a high-value guy that you got to level up. That's why I, mentioned my book. The other thing I'll say before we go, because we do have to start wrapping up, and I don't think we push this enough, but the school community is so fucking cheap. It's $50 a month, and there's almost 50 hours worth of content in there. There's an entire 3-hour segment that I did myself on the LTR component, the setup to it, the vetting process, and even for the guys that are like, I want to have a family and kids. How do I minimize the risk? There's also components built into that as well too. You get call-ins, you get the Zooms, you get the recordings. We have a fucking series of experts and chads in there that just deal specifically with dating, that are closer to your age than they are my age, right? That play this sort of game all the time. So, I mean, if you got $50 spare a month for like a gym membership, you probably got $50 for something like this. Get in the school community, right?
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I think that answered my last question too, around when you know that you can't have that emotional intimacy with a woman. Is it kind of like you gotta rely on these kinds of conversations where you can be open and honest from a man's perspective?
You need men. You need a tribe. You need a group of guys. You need a community.
That's my guy. So I appreciate it.
That's it.
All right, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the courses tab. Newer to the channel? Hit subscribe.